Okay, hi, welcome to the Red Carpet Report panel. I'm Andrea Laventhal from People magazine, the style and beauty director. I have such a beautiful, wonderful, fun panel today. And I just want to thank, before we get started, Mary Kay, our sponsor. It's always nice to have a great sponsor. So I am joined by stylist Tara Swenin. Hi, Tara. We have Nicole Chavez. Hi, Nicole. Hi. And hairstylist David Babai. Hi, David. So I'm going to go a teeny bit off script because I feel like, and this could be a very loaded question, guys, I'm just going to go around and ask you, how are you? And feel free to answer it with a red carpet angle or a personal angle, because you know whatever you want. Tara, how are you?
I'm doing good. I think we were just talking about this, but coming up on the year mark, it has definitely been the roller coaster ride of my life. But this week in particular, it's an exciting week. It's the Golden Globes, and I have a nominee going.
I'm having to stop video for people.
What's that? Oh, I feel like a little bit almost back to normal. So that's kind of exciting, but yeah, still feel like, we're recuperating on a lot of levels. So, the roller coaster continues for sure.
Okay. Nicole, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm living day to day. I'm like, I just, whatever I can handle that day, and then I move on, and tomorrow's a new day. So yesterday I spent 6 hours baking a cake for my kids. And they maybe ate like 2 bites. So that pretty much sums it up.
Oh, David, how are you?
I've started a diet 2 days ago, so I'm very hangry. And I'm trying to figure out what I could eat while I'm on this. But yeah, I'm good. I'm excited about the Globes. I'm excited about seeing, like you said, a little normalcy,
Yeah. So I was just saying before our panel started that, the People team, this is what we do. We live for the red carpet. It's literally what keeps us employed. And when there is no official red carpet, we're kind of, especially also for you guys, rudderless. Like, what are we doing? What's going on? What are we putting out there? And then as we saw with the Emmys, there can be a version of a red carpet, and you see with premieres and people's premieres and doing promo for movies, they're figuring out a way. So maybe just go around and talk about, using the big P word, pivot, what it's been for you working and this year, and kind of what you've put out there.
Yeah.
Tara, you want to start?
Sure. Well, I think it actually has had an evolution throughout, obviously, as we sort of figured out what was going on and how dangerous this was. I was actually one of the co-creators of this summit with Stephanie Spranger's almost a year ago. And so that was really exciting because that was a huge pivot for me, from just doing red carpet solely. I then went into do a lot more branding for myself, sort of a lot more influencer type stuff, which I had not done as much of previously, only because I had the time to reach out to brands, that I believed in. And a lot of people know I'm sort of a champion for, sustainability in the fashion industry. So I was able to really take the time and actually dive into that a lot more, which was really fulfilling in many ways. So that was really nice. And then as it started to come back, it was funny. The last job I did was a promotional movie poster for Kristen Stewart's last movie, The Happiest Season. And it was the first thing that came back when we'd had this sort of lull of 6 months of just not styling really. So it was quite poetic in a lot of ways. I joked about it in the beginning being like, wouldn't it be funny if that was the first thing? Because it was a holiday movie, and it was, which was crazy. So now it's picking back up a little bit and it's exciting. But it's definitely been, it's been nice because I've been able to do a lot of things that I've always had, on my to-do list. But there's a lot of things I really do miss. So, but taking it day by day, just like Nicole said.
Nicole, what's been your big P pivot?
I echo a lot of what Tara said. I had a lot of extra time on my hands. And so I focused a lot on obviously spending time with my family, which, when you're in this crazy styling world, you're always on the go. So it was nice to be home. Mm-hmm. But also just to be able to take time to, catch up with different brands, like she said, working more on my own brand, kind of finding my own voice, doing a lot of my own posting. I've had so much fun styling myself because it's really helped me mentally just because I'm just so creative and I'm so used to being in that rhythm of fashion and style. And so to get up and get dressed every day helped me so much. And so that's been really fun. And I've really enjoyed that creative process. And I hope to do more of that in the future.
Great. David, what about you?
After retiring, I came back. What was weird was I came back to do Meghan Markle. When she moved back here,
I'm not familiar with her work. Is she an up-and-coming influencer?
She's yeah. It was actually for People magazine, ironically. And it was weird because I hadn't done anybody in such a long time, and I came back wearing a mask and the whole thing. And Nicole knows we worked together. So you guys both know I sweat like crazy. So I had the mask, the glove, and then I'm steaming my glasses, so I'm like blind and trying to do that. And I'm just like, this is okay. I know why I retired. Now, if I got to do it like this every time, forget it, So, and the whole time I'm trying to be, everybody knows I'm a goofball and, too funny on set. And I'm trying to be not myself. And she said to me, she goes, "What's wrong with you? Why are you not funny anymore?" I'm like, dealing with COVID. There's a lot going on, But I've been working on my brands. I just sold MP Beautiful about a year ago before all this started. And I'm launching a pet care line. So I've been only focused on that. So
cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I love it. So let's assume.
Ooh.
Okay, sorry, I somehow got muted. Let's assume everything goes back to a version of normal soon and it continues to open up and we get more red carpets. What do you guys think the red carpet's going to look like in later 2021 going into 2022? Are we going to get these huge over the top still, the Met, Cannes, the Oscars all out with custom gowns? Are people going to use it more for social and political statements? Do you think it's going to be toned down? Like, give me your crystal ball. No wrong answers, because honestly, none of us truly know. Tara, kick it off.
I think it's going to be a combo of everything. I think the people that live larger than life are going to continue to do so and wear extravagant, amazing pieces. I think some people will shy away. I think some people will definitely use it more as a platform for their, voices. I think that already started with Time's Up prior to all of this. I do think that the public will continue to yearn for it. It's just something that's always been aspirational and fun, and everyone's sort of looking for that escapism at the moment. So I think it's going to continue. I'm very excited to see what happens this weekend. I think it's going to continue to roll out in ways that we don't know. We'll see if this weekend is even similar to the Emmys a couple months ago. We'll see how everything just continues to evolve, but I don't think it's going away. There was a moment where a lot of us were panicking because we feared for our livelihoods. But I do think that there will always be a want for it. So I do think that with red carpet itself, it will be something. I do think, for instance, for us with press tours and stuff like that, that's where we'll see a lot of change, where I think, studios will realize that they don't necessarily have to get, all of the media in one place to promote their movies. And so maybe we won't see junkets happen as much anymore or things like that. But as far as red carpet, I think everyone always wants a little bit of glamour. So I'm hopeful that it'll, continue in many ways for sure.
And let's be honest, your celeb clients, all of you, need you, because I see them on their Instagrams dressing themselves, and no, I'm kidding. we need you guys. Nobody can do their hair like a professional. Nobody can style themselves like a professional. And I think we can see that from all the sweatsuits we're wearing.
Yeah.
So, what's your prediction?
Same. I think it's a mixed bag. I do think initially when things open up a little bit, people are going to be really excited to get back. I think some people have really missed that interaction and going, but then I think it's going to go back to old times where they're like, we got to do another red carpet. But I do think in the beginning, it might be a bit of a, nuance of, oh, this is fun again, and seeing old friends and things like that. But I mean, I fell in love with this business because I love the red carpet. And so I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
Good. David, what do you think?
I think it depends on I definitely don't think the red carpet's going away. I think, like the girl said, it'll be a little different, but it depends on who it is. Like Kate Hudson loves the red carpet. Sandra Bullock hates the red carpet. Angelina Jolie could care less. Or I think it depends on who's going to use it to their advantage to say, I don't want to do a red carpet. It's not safe, or it shouldn't do it. Or the ones that really want to do it will be like, I'm here. This is what I'm here for. I want to promote my movie or wear a dress, or, people want to see that glamour. That's what everybody's been used to, So I don't know I feel bad about the junkets. It's like, it doesn't feel the same doing it like this, versus face to face, and the excitement of what the client's going to wear next, or what their hair is going to look like, or what their makeup is, and what movie they're talking about, versus doing it on a screen, I think.
So I love junkets and that sort of like press tour vibe, because for me, it's like creating a real look.
Definitely.
Coming up with like a bunch of different outfits. And that's one of my favorite things to do. So I hope that doesn't go away completely.
Yeah, we had some good time on those.
It seems that Instagram, for better or worse, has become the red carpet, right? Like a lot of celebrities, professionals are using it to kind of, here's my outfit that I kind of would have been wearing if I was going on Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, and here's the head to toe look. And certainly I get really excited because it's a moment, it's something to cover and write about. And then being that you guys are the tastemakers of those moments and it trickles down to the rest of us, what trends can you predict that will come? Do you think we're all going to still be wearing comfortable clothes and sort of comfort first, hair undone, less makeup? Do you think people will get really excited to get dressed? Just your personal feeling. We'll do the other way. David, you start.
Glam. I think that women my clients, or the girls that I've spoken throughout this process about what they should do with their hair, they just are craving me or professionals to make them look glamorous. So I think the full on, at least from what I've seen and what I've heard, all my clients want to look. I don't know about the all undone look. I think maybe it'll be a feel of both, but I think people want to be glammed up.
Cool.
I agree with David. I mean, there's something about having your hair and makeup done, even as a common person myself. Like, it's so nice to like have someone do your hair and makeup. You feel so beautiful, and it's different than what you do every day. So I think we've been doing the same thing. It'll be nice to like glam it up a bit. As far as fashion goes, I think it's gonna be a combination of being comfortable, but also going out and feeling glam again as well. I think a lot of these, I crack up with all the sweatpants from the waist down and all these like fancy tops. It's sort of like my client's dream. They love that they can like have both worlds. Yeah. So I think it will kind of continue in that way, but maybe it'll be more comfortable shoes, things like that, Yeah,
I think we were already on the way with street style to sort of normalizing athleisure, comfortable sneakers, athletic wear. But I do think that, I'm hopeful that, and I think it'll take a minute because people really have been wearing sweatpants for a year at this point, we will come out and it'll be like the Roaring 20s again, and everyone's just going to be so excited to put on that dress and to go out. I do think that masks will be around for another year. So that's going to be something that we all have to contend with for, you know, the foreseeable future. But I do think that everyone's going to go, oh my God, I forgot to have that in my closet. I really want to pimp that, you know? So we'll see. I mean, I think on the red carpets, for instance, right now, everyone is a little bit weary of being tone deaf. And that's definitely a catwalk that everyone's walking right now to make sure that, you know, they don't put themselves out there in a way where they are seen, you know, everyone wants to embrace the glamour, but they also have to realize that this has been one of the toughest years for people ever, like across the globe. So people are just walking that fine line. But I do think that, you know, everyone will slowly embrace it for sure.
I was thinking, like, you guys, you know, have helped shape the styles, the looks of some really established stars who have gotten to do so many red carpets that they're like Sandra Bullock. They're like, if I have to do another red carpet tomorrow, it'll be too soon. But what about these up and coming stars? Like, Tara, you work with Laura Condor, right?
Lana Condor, yeah.
Lana. And, you know, do you feel like they're missing out on this moment in their career where it's all about the glitz and glam of their first this and their first that? Do you think they'll get it? I just was thinking about that, looking at her, your Instagram of the moments with her.
I think it's just different. I mean, you know, for her, with her movie, Netflix promoted, you know, the heck out of it. They had 20 stops, her and Noah. And, you know, all of it was virtual. You know, I mean, they literally sent them a step and repeat and a red carpet to their homes, which I thought was hilarious. But they did it up, you know, it was different, you know, and it, you know, but the what's it called, like the Instagram hits or whatever were viral the same way. I think it was it's just covered differently, you know what I mean? But I still think that because everyone has access to it, it's just a different way. I don't think she missed out in any way. I mean, as far as the amount of looks that we would have done prior to, you know, COVID, it was the same. It was just in a different way. So I don't know, you know, I mean, I think for her personally, she or others, you know, in that sort of up and coming world or what have you, I know that, you know, even with the girls who work with me, like in their 20s, you know, they're sort of like, man, I wish, you know, I feel like I'm missing out on my 20s, you know? So, you know, I feel bad in that way, but I also think that, you know, you take from it what you can from any time that you live in. So, you know, those girls will find a new way to normalize different things and use it to their advantage in their careers, and it'll just be different.
Nicole, tell me what it's like to style somebody for Zoom/Instagram.
Well, my clients they enjoyed having that kind of, like David said, a little bit of downtime. So they weren't out doing anything they didn't have to do. So I was pretty limited on what we were promoting over the last year. And, you know, to be honest, I didn't see Kristen at all. We didn't fit one time this whole year. We're lucky to be the same size. So I would just throw stuff on myself.
Love that.
Either from my closet, because things would roll in like super last minute, or I would call in a few looks, throw it on, and then take a picture and be like, this is what you're wearing. And and then I'd hope for maybe someone around her would take a picture and send it to me, and maybe I could promote it. I mean, it was pretty basic. But it was fun. I mean, that's just how we kind of rolled this year, and we made it work. And, you know, there was a couple times, I think I got a couple shots of her doing stuff that I was able to promote, but for the most part, we just had to, you know, make it work.
Do you find that when you call in looks now from the designers, they're like so excited to have their stuff, you know, showcased? Because otherwise, where's it going?
Yeah, and it's hard too, because being safe and not, you know, especially earlier, it's getting a little looser now, but in the early days, when I wasn't seeing my clients at all. And so how am I going to document what they're wearing, and how am I going to be able to share that with everybody so the designers are getting credited? You know, that was a tough thing. I actually started using Rent the Runway a lot. for myself personally, but also it was just an easy way to have stuff on hand that I could throw on, and I didn't feel bad not being able, if I wasn't able to promote it for a designer. So anyways, I did feel like our showrooms and designers definitely got the short end of the deal on that one.
So interesting. You know, I always used to joke back in the old days of 2019, are there any dresses left? It would be like, we'd be halfway through the year, and I felt like, how are there any more red carpets? Like, there was a red carpet for everything. And then you add in street style and all the promos and just the random moments. And it was like, how are there any dresses left? And now that I can ask you guys, what was that like back in the old days of like having to, you know, call in for so many events? Do you think it'll be like that again? Do you think some of those things will self-correct a little bit?
Well, I think the designers even themselves were experiencing a crazy amount of burnout with just how much they had to churn out, you know, every single season, whether it was resort, I mean, everything. And yeah, we were struggling, you know, I mean, there was this stigma too. And again, you know, really trying to champion sustainability, where it was like that whole who wore it best BS was really taboo. And I'm hopeful that at least this past year will sort of normalize that a little bit, where it's like, yo, we don't even have enough dresses to go around for all these men and women or whatever, you know, and we have to find a different solution. So who cares if it was worn before, you know, or you had people like Kate Blanchett who went to the Venice Film Festival and just re-wore what she'd already worn. It was genius. Yeah. So I'm hopeful that at least the tide will turn a little bit on that. Because yeah, it was stressful. I mean, don't you think, Nicole?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel for the designers. There's just not enough to go around. There's so many events, so many things that these women and men have to get dressed for. And it's hard. I mean, I'm lucky. My clients are totally okay with re-wearing things. And I love that. I think it's great. And also it's fun to see how different people wear it. I mean, everyone's personality is totally different. And I love that it brings different things to the table. I as a designer, I would love to have 5 different people wearing the same dress and see how everyone styles it different and wears it. I think that's an amazing thing. We should definitely do more of that.
Writer, I would love that. That's a great headline.
I gotta say something. What I love, I mean, as not a stylist, the hairstylist, watching what celebrity got what dress. You know, I was able to work with every different actress, right? So you guys had your client. I worked with multiple.
Chegou de Maiorca às 10h30 da manhã, saiu do aeroporto agora.
Someone's not on mute.
Disseram que precisava de fazer o PCR, ter o PCR para entrar em Lisboa. Eu não tenho, então tenho que fazer agora. E ele, está bem, pronto, eu faço agora.
I love this.
10 a 12 horas.
Maria Bacas.
Ele diz, olha, tivemos sorte, esperámos só 6.
Maria, can you hear us?
Estava agora a sair do aeroporto.
We got bombed by Maria. Let me see if we can. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so I would love seeing. Okay, so I'm going to give you a range of girls, right? So I would be, you know, I would do 5 girls at Oscars at times. Like, so I'd be with Angelina Jolie, or this is one year, Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Hudson, Sandra Bullock, and I think it was Uma Thurman. And they all had different stylists, right? And I went from one room to the other room to the other room, and I would see and I would hear stylists or hear them say, I'm sorry, because so-and-so got the dress first, or so-and-so got the dress first. And I was just like, I'm going to see her next, you know, or like, it was interesting seeing the power of the girl or the guy getting the dress first. It had nothing to do with the stylist. It had nothing to do with, they were doing their best, but like, how designers were plotting who would get what dress, you know, as the hairstylist listening and watching that. I just thought that was fascinating.
I have always I always think of it as like scripts in Hollywood. Like there's a hierarchy of who gets these amazing scripts, and it's sort of,
so right.
It's kind of the same with dresses. they're offered to a certain level of people. And it really, it's frustrating as a stylist because you're definitely sometimes one hand tied behind your back. But then I also find that then you have to be creative, find new designers. You know, you can build a whole thing out of just finding a new designer and styling someone in something that no one's ever seen for the Oscars. So,
but let me
you know, you got to work with what you got.
Let me ask you a question. So I remember when Uma made Prada, when Uma first wore Prada on the red carpet, and it was like,
that was like 1995 or 7.
Yeah, she was
Prada.
She was, I think, promoting Gattaca or something. I think it was Gattaca, and she came out on the red carpet wearing Prada. Nobody knew who Prada was, and like she is like so much free Prada for the rest of her life. It's ridiculous. In her closet, all I would ever see is Prada, 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 Prada. I mean, I have so many Prada gifts from Prada because of Prada. But I would see what Nicole is saying is like, I would always love seeing if an actress couldn't get a dress or something like that. These guys are the creative ones, not the designers. It's the stylists that have to, no offense, fight for dresses. It's like a thing, you know, and who gets the dress and who doesn't get the dress. But then what happens is the best stylists or the creative stylists make what they've got better than everybody else's dress. I mean, seriously, how many Dior's have we seen and Chanel's and whatever that you're like, that's what they fought for? And then you see somebody else dressing them so much better with clothes that they aren't fancy dresses. You know what I mean? So they create these are the guys that create the next designer, not the actress, you know?
Stylist is definitely the unsung hero.
100%. No, it's true. I remember how many times I'd see you guys schlepping in. I was like, oh my God, I'm complaining about one suitcase. Meanwhile, I'm in my suitcase room. I'm complaining about one suitcase. These guys are dragging in wheels and wheels. I'm like, I'd love to help, but I got to go set up one brush. I'll be right back.
Now, I think with social media and a year like this, again, for better or worse, stylists were forced to, again, keyword, pivot and figure out what their brand is, what their business is outside of the traditional styling. So that kind of is a good segue to my next question, which is, what is your passion? What's important to you moving forward? What's the thing that you most want to bring into your work going forward? Tara, we'll start with you.
Well, for me, it's definitely been sustainability. And it was something that happened 5 years ago. I went vegan and I just started, you know, advocating for the animals. And then I went deep dive into how bad my industry was and really realizing that it's actually one of the worst industries in the entire world. So that was really bothersome for me because it is already, you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of levels of fashion that are quite superficial. Like we all don't need closetfuls, you know, of clothes. And so it shifted my moral compass. And obviously, I think with anyone doing a job for 20 years, you sort of say, okay, what's going to be my legacy? Like, what do I want to leave behind? And so for me, it became really important. But it was sort of trying to figure out the trajectory of how I could incorporate it because it's hard. We're in the service industry, you know? So when my client comes in and says, I want to wear fur, you know, you have to gently urge them to maybe wear fake fur, which they might not want to do. So for me, it was about figuring out, you know, how to blast it out, you know, on my social media, how to get involved in certain organizations, how to pair up with designers, you know, just how to educate, all of those things. And luckily, my clients have been very gracious about it. And you have to learn how to walk the line of not being too forceful, but just to sort of urge in a gentle way and say, listen, we could do this leather shoe, or we could do this leather shoe, or what have you. And so it's been nice. And I think one of the beauties of 2020 is that designers, you know, all realms, manufacturers, what have you in the industry have been able to take the pause to step back and say, okay, how do I want to diversify my company? How do I want to make it, you know, better for the world? How do I want to show my transparency? All those kind of things have been things that people have, you know, luckily been able to take the time to deal with. So for me, it just felt right. And that's, you know, that's kind of what I did.
Is there anyone you want to kind of shout out, a designer you've been working with a lot or discovered recently, or a brand that you're really just loving? Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, not at all. I mean, so many. I think there really have been. I've always been a fan of, like, you know, the Stella McCartneys of the world that have been doing it since the get-go. But I really think that a lot of brands have just taken the time to say, okay, like, this is what we've been doing wrong. And so it's not necessarily, you know, even in sustainability, there's not one thing, you know, because there is no real sustainability. Fashion in and of it's a, you know, it's a catch-22. So as long as companies are really taking the time to take every step they possibly can, whether it's, you know, diversifying their workforce, whether it's making sure that their, you know, workers are being paid properly, whether it's, you know, changing to organic materials or whatever it is, as long as companies are taking that one step, I do think, you know, especially a lot of the fast fashion brands are slowly starting to change. So those are the ones I say, you know, I'm grateful that they're taking the time, because everyone's sort of realizing that this is the tipping point, you know, so everyone has to sort of do it however they can. So, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty, there's tons of brands that I'm really proud of that have really taken the time to change this year.
Nice.
Nicole, what about you? What's your passion, something that your goal moving forward?
You know, I would love to be able to do more education. I find that I love to share information with, you know, just sharing with my clients brings me so much joy. And I would love to find a way to do that in a much bigger platform. So I'm really going to try to dive into that. For me, I love like effortless styling. Styling comes very natural to me. And I find that I want to be able to share that with everyone. I don't want people to be intimidated by fashion or feel like they can't be stylish or get dressed. I want it to just be like, let me show you how to do this really easy, everyday kind of lifestyle vibes. You know, I find that I'm constantly giving friends and family advice, and I want to figure out a way to get it out there to more people.
You'd be a good person to have on speed dial, all of you guys. You could just be like, should I wear this? Yes or no? I do that with my
I get those texts every day, all day, and I love them so much. That's my favorite part about styling.
He says to you, write a book, Nicole.
Okay, thank you. We're putting it in the
putting it out there.
Supportive. Tara, you're getting a lot of supportive comments about your support of fur-free fashion. So check those comments out. David, what are you bringing into 2021 and beyond? What's your focus? Something you're excited about?
So I'm an animal activist my whole life, advocate. I remember Angelina Jolie said to me, "You've got a microphone and people are listening. Use it wisely." And I never endorsed a product, as everybody knows about me, ever. So besides David Bye-Bye for Wild Aid that I did with Kate Hudson, which brought awareness to wildlife conservation.
I still have your hair dryer.
Swear to God, it's the best. Sulfate-free, paraben-free, petrochemical-free, the first ever mass market one. Yep. It's my pet care line that I'm doing. I'm obsessed with animal rights. I believe in educating people. I was the yeller, screamer, get arrested hundreds of times, fighting. Oh, Jesus, I've been arrested so many times. It's almost ridiculous. And being an ambassador to Amnesty International now, the new ambassador, human rights is a big deal for me, but I want to change. I want to use my voice and make changes. You know, I'm besides raising money for animal abuse prevention and animal cruelty, there's a lot going on in the world that we don't know about because we're so focused on so many other things. And I want to make a difference, you know? I want to make a difference. I've been blessed by my career and my opportunities, and now I want to give. I've always given back, but I want to educate people on what's going on.
I love that. Yeah. Because it's a red carpet panel, I want to just selfishly ask, and I know this is the worst question to get asked, so I apologize. Can you just give me one of your favorite looks? It can be from any year, any time in your career, something that you still get asked about, comes up all the time, or it's a personal favorite that's just never going to go away and you're thrilled about it. David, you want to start? I feel like you have one.
I have a couple.
I have ones of yours, so I want to see.
My three. Kate Hudson in London. I arrived, no tools, nothing.
I love this. I know
nothing.
This.
Remember, I used deodorant, her natural dippy deodorant. Remember?
It was Melina Wild Rose spray deodorant. I remember the story. I love it.
Sprayed it all over it, wrapped my hand around. You guys remember the European hotel blow dries? They're like nothing. Held it, gave her 2 little wings or whatever. Best hair I've ever done. Cannot repeat it to save my life. Can't repeat it. I've tried so many times. It just drives me crazy. The other time with Sandra Bullock, I gave her bangs to the point where she couldn't see. And I kept saying to her, like, this is the new thing. This is the year after you got nominated. And of course, I was being selfish. I wanted to get press. So I gave her bangs like right at her eyes. So she's like literally bumping into shit. I would tell her, do not touch the bangs,
Reference, this was the Kate Hudson look, right?
That's it.
Best
ever.
Interest forever hair inspo board. I love that you gave Sandra Bullock the most unfunctional bangs.
That and Michelle Obama, which I was never allowed to tell anyone, I think I'm allowed to say it now, is when I gave Michelle Obama bangs and I got crucified in the press, but nobody knew it was me. That she's a first lady. What is this sexy look? And, you're hiring me to give you I'm the sexy hair guy, So I gave her bangs like really, the David wave. And I got crucified in the press. And I was just like, oh my God, thank God they don't know it's me.
All right. Who wants to go next? Who's got a look?
As far as big red carpets, I mean, Allison Janney's Oscar-winning look is still always one of my favorites. Just because we sort of all, it was magical. The whole that whole award season was really magical doing that. But having that be the sort of, final finale was really, really great. I loved its long red sleeves down to the floor. And, Allison's so statuesque. It was quite fun. Yes.
She is gorgeous. I love that.
What else?
Did she love it as much as you did?
What's that?
Did she love it?
She did. It was great. And Reemacher's always been, an amazing friend for years. So it was nice to, do something together. And then what else? I really liked Kristen Stewart's, I think it was probably the last Twilight, which was like a nude Zuhair Murad. That one was one of my favorites. It was nice to just end on that. And then I really loved, was it probably maybe 2 years ago, Matthew McConaughey wore a really nice tuxedo for one of my boys to the Oscars. That was
By the way, I have to say, guys, as an editor, one thing that we've become really excited about is how men have been dressing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the carpet and in Instagram doing looks. And it's like, what took so long? We love menswear. We started including men in our best dress roundups, and it's just so fresh. And it's like, what took us so long? What took them so long? What took
them so long?
Let men have fun, colors, styles, jewelry. I know that it's probably, we're not going to see, like we were talking about the blinged out watches right now and the stuff like that, but I love where menswear is going. I really do.
I remember when I had beads in Brad Pitt's beard, because I was like obsessed with bead. I couldn't do it myself. So I was like, let's just see what happens, what people will say. And, I can get away with it. No one's going to yell at me or whatever. So I put these beads in his beard, not a lot. And it was like, I got calls from Sultan of Brunei wanting me to come trim his beard, but they wanted me to use the same scissors that I used on Brad. And I was like, here's a quick newsflash. It was like 400. So I literally, they wanted to fly me in to trim his beard because of that. So I thought that was funny. Men should do it more.
I love that. I hope you didn't wash your hands for a while. Nicole, what about you? What's your...
David has the best stories. I could listen to you talk all day long.
I love it.
Best. That's so hard for me. I honestly, like, It's like picking your favorite child. But I will say, the one that just kind of comes to my mind is a more recent one I did with Kristen Bell. She wore Dior. It was like an all beaded gown, and it had this like tribal element to it that I really loved. It had this cool collar, and it was a cutout, and I just loved it. I thought it was really modern, and I loved it on her. It was definitely like more of like a risk for her. And
Emmys, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And I thought the whole thing came together. Like I loved the hair and make the whole thing work. So that's one that yes.
Good visuals.
Oh, I
like that one a lot. Whenever I want to like be them or like wear that, I'm like, okay. Like, can I just not give that back? Can that just
You and I did a great look with Scarlett Johansson too. I'll never forget. It was, well, we did 1,000 looks with Scarlett, but it was this one baby blue dress. It was so, I mean, I can't remember what it was for, but it was just such an amazing dress. And like, you know,
the one that was like one shoulder?
Yes.
Yeah, that was for, oh my God, that was for Iron Man.
Yes, it was the best. You know, it
was Armani.
It was, yeah, Scarlett's so easy, you know, and Nicole was always, I mean, we were like the best glam team. It was like so easy. I mean, it was literally coming in and doing what we wanted, you know, and at the end, she's like, look great and out, you know?
Yeah.
That dress, that look, still one of my favorites you've done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so nice to have somebody else recognize your hard work and remember it. And I have to say, like, that's the thing with fashion, and that's why I'm excited for the red carpet. I remember all of your work, you know, we save these images. They used to be in scrapbooks or whatever. Now they're on our phones, and we carry them around and we show them to our own hairstylists or inspired for our own big events. So it does have a lot of meaning, you know, you're inspiring so many people. And so I hope it comes back even bigger. But also, like you guys said, more responsible, you know, with more just using your platforms for the things that you're passionate about, because you guys are pros and you've been around and seen so much and learned so much. And I love that you're sharing it more and more with all of us and keeping us inspired and looking good, because we need help, right? Easy. Not everyone was born with the styling gene or the hairstyling talent. So we can take some questions, I guess, from the, we have some questions about, there was one about living abroad and coming to the States to styling, how you can break into the US market. I have no answer. So ladies, is there anything advice-wise about breaking into the styling market?
Assist.
Yeah.
Truly.
And be like a good assistant. Like like actually assist. That's the most important thing. Like be humble, want to work, because nobody seems to want to work anymore. I don't know what that's.
Be a TikTok star now.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
I work when you can TikTok.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. I'd still prefer working over TikToking, but I don't know. I just feel like, yes, get in there, get your hands dirty, learn. There's so much to learn. If you can come in and be a strong assistant, you will go really, really far in this business.
Work for one of these two and you'll make it.
Yeah, and just spread the net really wide, you know, reach out to the agencies, put yourself out there, you know, work with a variety of people, because everybody has a different way of running their business. And, you know, just network. That's really, you know, a lot of it is about just, you know, getting your foot through the door, and then you prove yourself. And that's, you know, that's how you make your way to the top.
We have a question about hoping to move from Boston, Los Angeles. How can I start assisting? Should I offer to intern first, or can I take on paid assisting jobs?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get right experience.
I think by offering to intern really gets your foot in the door. If someone came to me and said, I just want to learn, I want to help you, I would take them in and teach them everything. Mm-hmm. You know, if they really, really genuinely wanted to do it, or passionate about it, I mean, they'd be my right hand person. It's just people come in and they feel like they're entitled to so much knowledge and information that we've been working and gaining for the last 15, 20 years. So it takes time to learn all that stuff. And if you can come in and work hard, by all means, I would love to have people like that.
I think that goes for almost any industry, but particularly the creative ones. I got my start at Cosmopolitan as an intern out of college. So you think you're going to graduate and just like, you know, be the next Andy Anderson from Composure magazine. That was a How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Of course.
But you have to work, and I had to intern. But then if you make yourself, you know, an invaluable resource and always there to learn and pick up, they're going to need you. And guess what? When a position opens up that you can pay, you're standing right there. You are indispensable. You're the only one who knows how to get the paper jam out of the copier, and you'll do it every time.
And it's a tight-knit community, you know. I mean, there have been many times where, you know, Nicole and I have known each other for decades. You call your friends and you say, hey, Nicole, you got somebody for me this week? Like, I'm slammed. And, you know, when you've got your top 3 freelancers, you send them one of them. And that's how it, you know, that's how the relationships are all formed. It's very familiar in a lot of ways.
That's a great point.
And actually, good to note too, because it is so tight knit, don't think you can get away with shady shenanigans, because we all talk to each other. We share information, especially now more than ever. I mean, maybe in the beginning, there wasn't as much of a community, but now there's so, I mean, yeah, we see each other all the time. We're very open. We talk all the time about this stuff. So don't think you're going to come in and get away with some shady stuff.
Nope.
Oh, you guys are so great. I can't wait to see what you do in the next, you know, this year and beyond. It's such a pleasure to speak to all of you. David, those stories, thank you.
Oh, there's so much more, honey. There's so much.
I love it.
Write a book, David.
Yeah.
Let's do it together. I'm too lazy to write a book.
I just want to be with you all the time. I miss you.
I miss you too. I miss you guys.
So
I think
much.
everybody misses seeing
Everybody.
Buddy.
That is probably one of the hardest things about COVID and quarantine, is not seeing our our glam family, you know, because they really are our second family, the people that we spend so much time with. And it's usually, you know, the same people. So I miss my teams.
That is so important. One thing else that I think everybody should know is we really work together. You know, I'm the first to ask the stylist, what are you thinking for hair? Because they inspire me. I'm not like, I have no ego, you know. My thing is like, what is going to make the dress? I'm not going to compete, you know. My job is to make the dress, you know, like if it's a high collar, like what do you need me to do? Instead of being the complete opposite, you know. And I'll give you an example. Kate Hudson, the year she was nominated for a Golden Globe, before she started working with me with the Jerry curls and the Stella McCartney hair. Sorry, no.
To ask, and I'm so glad you brought it
up.
I
hold that against her forever. I'm like, see, this is what happens when I'm not around. But we work together as a team. We each, you know, what do you think of makeup? What do you think? With Nicole, she's like, David, do whatever you want. You know? So it's like, we all work well together. And that's what makes the perfect red carpet. When you don't have a good red carpet moment, that means the team didn't work well, not the celebrity. The team didn't work well.
Oh, that's such an interesting point, because it somehow becomes like that celebrity, like how could they wear that dress? And a lot of times I'm like, they probably have no opinion.
No, they don't.
To be really collaborative and involved. And I hear that time and time again, but you can also tell there's a lot of them who are like, just put the dress on me. You know, you're the pro, and they get overstyled because
you guys agree? Don't you guys agree? Like, you know, I've seen some red carpet moments of hairdressers that I inspire to, and I'm like, what the hell happened? It's because, and then I look and see who the team is, and I'm like, those guys don't even like each other. But if you get the right team to,
yeah,
it is true, very true.
I think our secret panel should be trying to dissect what didn't work from old looks.
I'm down for that.
That would be fun. That would be a fun show.
Right? why it didn't work, with all of our own work, of course, to keep us humble.
Definitely.
You guys, thank you so much. I wish you all so much good health and happiness for the rest of the year for all of us.
And thank you everyone that joined.
Yes.
Thank you for your great questions and comments. They're very appreciated. So I'm really excited to tune into the Globes. Let's see what we get, right? We'll take any glamour. I'll take it all.
Anything.
even if
Good
it's
luck, ladies.
Take care.